Alexa, I'm feeling a little bit hungry right now. I could use some steak as we head on over to Turfway Park. It's the Jeff Ruby Steaks, and it's spelled like Steak. Why is it spelled that way, Alexa?
Yeah, Jeff Ruby is a big player in horse racing, and he's got a steakhouse here in Lexington, which is like the spot to go during the Keeneland meet. So if you're ever here in Lexington, you gotta go to Jeff Ruby's.
I think one year it was the Jeff Ruby Steaks. This year they've just shortened it. It's the Steaks, Steak, and there are Kentucky Derby points up for grabs and probably a couple horses in this field that will make it into the starting gate come that first Saturday in May. So let's head on over to Turfway Park. Let's meet the field for the Jeff Ruby Stakes. It's going to go as race number 12 on Saturday at Turfway Park. So the big races are the 12th race at the fairgrounds for the Louisiana Derby, and then the 12th race at Turfway Park for the Jeff Ruby Stakes. We meet the one to start things out, Alexa Calling Card. He is a deep closer. He's a stone cold closer. So he's going to drop back. He's going to make one late run. I think he's a little bit better than his overall form might suggest if you're just looking at some of his finishes, because once he gets going, if he gets stopped, he has a hard time like starting over again. One of these races, he's going to get a clean trip and he'll come flying late. He needs the setup, and I'm not sure if it's going to be on Saturday, but I do think a little higher of him than I feel like the common perception of this horse is.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, maybe we've lost a little bit of faith in him, but not a bad horse. And this is the first time he's trying synthetic, which might help out with that running style. And his trainer, Mike Maker, has a really strong record in this race. He's won it 5 times in the last 15 years. So he definitely knows what it takes to win in this spot. I'm still not going to play him this week, though.
Charlie's to blame, totally opposite end of the spectrum. That's the number 2. He's fast early. I'm a little concerned about the trip that he gets in this race, Alexa, how it sets up for him, because I think there are a couple other front runners, even like the horse to his outside, I would prefer over him as a front runner, California Burrito.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I actually am using Charlie's to blame underneath, but I like California Burrito better, which we talked about a month ago when he won the John Battaglia Memorial. So that was on the Tapeta as well. But like you said, just like Charlie's to blame, going to be vying for that lead. But we've also seen glimpses of him being able to rate and kind of sit off the pace. So he does have some versatility that I think will lend really helpful in this race.
He's one of the top contenders in this race because he won the local prep race, the race that kind of leads you right into this race, California Burrito. Final Gambit, he broke his maiden, meaning he had his first career victory on February the 15th. He doesn't seem like he's that fast early on, though. That's a worry that I have in a race like this, where is he going to be able to close with the deep closers, and he doesn't really get an advantage with like any type of running style early. What do you think about Final Gambit?
I mean, he's a step up in class here, and Cox's runners often do excel in these spots. So potential contender, but not one that I'm using in my final selections.
Flying Mohawk is very interesting. Shout out to Jason Worth, who I believe is part of the ownership group here, trying to get back to the Kentucky Derby. He had great success last year with Dornick, who was very, very good winning after the Kentucky Derby. So Flying Mohawk, he'll actually make his first start on the synthetic. He's been pretty impressive in his last couple races, and generally, Alexa, it's not always, but a lot of the time, horses that run well on the turf courses, they'll perform pretty well on the synthetic surfaces.
Yeah, it does translate well, that surface change, and he has continued to improve every start. I think he should like the added distance, and could be a surprise in here at 15-1. You do see him on the Timeform US pace projector, not that far off of the, finishing positions.
Baby Max, the number 6, he's going to add the blinkers, maybe hoping they can just get him a little more focus. He ran a really good race last time out. He was just second behind California Burrito. Do you like him at all in here?
I do like him in here. I've used him in my selections. Like you said, adding the blinkers, so I expect him to be kind of prominent early. And I do think the equipment change should sharpen him.
Giacoso, the number 7, he's coming off of a disappointing performance, and he just, based on like the speed figures and the ratings that we're looking at, he hasn't been one of the faster horses in this race. I think he's just going to have to improve a lot to be competitive here.
I wrote the exact same, Gino. I mean, we just need to see so much more from him. And this is a really contentious race. So, not a place I'm going to use him in.
Well, the coach, D. Wayne Lucas, one of the all time great trainers, a Hall of Fame trainer, he won the Virginia Derby last week. So he's going to have a horse in the Kentucky Derby. And we just talked about him in the prior segment. He could have one that comes in from the fairgrounds, he could have another one from Turfway Park with Innovator. I think we'll at least get some speed out of this horse, Alexa. I just don't know about the finish from him.
Yeah, Innovator just seems to be in kind of a declining form, which is not something I like to bet on a horse with. Like you said, going to want to be a part of that early pace, but there's going to be a lot of horses who want to be a part of the early pace. So for me, I'm going to pass.
Poster is the number 9. He hasn't done a whole lot wrong in his career. He's run 4 times. He's won 3 of them. And in one of his losses, he finished 3rd in the Sam F. Davis behind John Hancock and Owen Almighty. John Hancock's going to be one of the favorites in the Louisiana Derby. Owen Almighty came back to win the Tampa Bay Derby. So that race, finishing 3rd, was a pretty good effort from Poster.
Yeah, Poster's my top selection. He was undefeated last year in his 3 starts, and then, like you said, came back and ran really well in the Louisiana Derby. So, or John behind John Hancock, who's now favored in the Louisiana Derby. So this will be the first start on the synthetic, but he's also been training here all winter. So I think he's going to be in a comfortable spot and is a valid favorite.
Kind of like the 10 a little bit here, Maximum Promise, because in the John Battaglia Memorial, he was way behind California Burrito and Baby Max early. And when those two horses kind of separated, Maximum Promise was one of the only horses, Alexa, that was actually finishing. And if you look at his prior form, I don't think he has to be that far back. He doesn't need to be way, way towards the back. So I'm hoping Dettori can get him more involved early in this race. Maximum Promise was 3rd in that last effort. What do you think about his chances here?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming in for trainer Kenny McPeak, who won the Derby and Oaks last year. I think the late running style could benefit from this fast pace, obviously, and the surface. So I do like Maximum Promise.
Curvino, the number 11, just to me feels like one of the longer shots in here. Can you make a case for him?
No, I feel the same way about both these outside horses, Curvino, and he's not joking. For me, I just don't think they're quite good enough to compete here.
He's not joking. The 12 was good last year on the synthetic surface up at Woodbine, but his races on the dirt this year, I'm just not sure if he's in the same form as he was last year. So as we finish up our second segment here, we're going to hand the baton from the boys to the ladies, because when we return from this quick break, we're going to talk about the Kentucky Oaks points races coming up this weekend, one at Fairgrounds and one at Turfway Park. Don't go anywhere.